morning, City Hill Church. I hope everyone's doing well, staying happy, staying sane during this time. So about 2 weeks ago, our president announced that we would be moving into stage 3 lockdown. So what I'm seeing is that slowly but surely, we are returning to what's normal. So there's a lot more cars on the road, so I'm assuming a lot more people are going to work. Most businesses are opening, and that is the core of my message today with regards to the work that we do and the work of the Holy Spirit in us. As believers today, we have the massive privilege of having the Holy Spirit live and work in us. And this obviously only comes from us accepting Jesus Christ and the work he did on the cross. So I just want to read from John 14 verse 15 to 17. So this was just before Jesus was about to be crucified. He knew what was going to happen, so he comforted his disciples. He gave them a promise. So let me read. So he said, "If you love me, you will obey what I command, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another counselor, a big C, to be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. The world cannot accept him because it neither sees him nor knows him, but you know him, and he lives in you and will be in you. I will not leave you as orphans." So that already is such a comfort to know that we have the Spirit of God in us, and Jesus Christ will not leave us as orphans during this time, right? So, but it wasn't always like that. We know that the Spirit of God was there since the beginning. But in the Old Testament, in biblical history, the Spirit would only ever come on specific individuals in order to achieve specific things. So some examples of that would be Joshua. Joshua was the guy who succeeded Moses, right? So this was after they had wandered for 40 years in the desert. Joshua was given the task of settling this slave nation of Israel into the promised land. And he was given supernatural leadership and decision-making abilities. And then you get guys like Samson. We all know about Samson with supernatural strength in time of need. And then you get King David, man after God's own heart, that through his greatest victories and his darkest sin, he still had the Holy Spirit with him. And then his son, King Solomon, who was given supernatural wisdom. So this is just sort of a highlight of, all the big moments in history, the famous biblical heroes and the work of the Holy Spirit in them. But this has sort of led to, I guess, a notion that the Holy Spirit is only limited to work either in like church activities, like spiritual activities, or in big, world-changing events, because that's what we see in the Old Testament. But this isn't so. So as I mentioned in my last devotion, I'm busy doing the book of Exodus. So the second half of Exodus is concerned with the Israelites. They're busy wandering, and God gives them this monumental task of building him a house, essentially the first temple, which became the tabernacle, which is basically a mobile tent that would up and move with the Israelites as they, journeyed along. But this was very specialized work, very intricate work that they needed to do. And you must remember that this is a group of recently escaped slaves, so they don't have any formal training in what they need to do. So God doesn't just give them, the job and then say, cheers, good luck with that. But rather, he sends the Holy Spirit on two very little known individuals. So we have Bezalel and Oholiab. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But it's in Exodus 35 verse 30. So let me just read what it says. Then Moses said to the Israelites, "See, the Lord has chosen Bezalel, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, and he has filled him with the Spirit of God, with skill and ability and knowledge of all kind of craft, to make artistic design, to work in gold, silver, and bronze, to cut and set stone, to work in wood, and to engage in all kinds of artistic craftsmanship. And he has given both to him and Oholiab the ability to teach others. He has filled them with skill to do all the work, all kinds of work as craftsmen, designers, embroiders in blue, purple, scarlet yarn, fine linen, and weavers. All of them master craftsmen and designers. So what stood out to me is that the work of the Holy Spirit is not limited to church activities in the sense of, prophecy or healing or speaking in tongues, nor is it limited to, great world-changing events like the great heroes of the Bible. But in whatever vocation you are placed in, whatever your job is, whether you work with money, whether you work with your hands, whether you work with people, irrespective, you are able to ask God for the Holy Spirit in order to have your vocation be blessed and the works of your hands be prosperous. But it comes with a but. It cannot be for selfish ambition. If you pray with the right motive, in that God get all the glory for whatever your achievements are, then you will see that your work will be blessed and that your work will be meaningful, irrespective of what your job is. And I just want to leave you with that. When you go back to work, you are able to glorify God and be prosperous in whatever you do.